This brief video will focus on the John Brown raid in October of 1859. Here we have Brown here about to be overtaken. He's in the firehouse here. Here he is about to be hit with a sword here. Another from the same... this is another angle here. Note his one son there is wounded there, laying behind the gentleman with the sword there. Start out the video here with a picture of the Old South there. Here's one of the cotton fields here. Here we have the slave labor here that the South used. Picture of the Underground Railroad here. Here we have some slaves in a slave cellar, and they're hiding. A lot of houses in the north were used as part of the Underground Railroad here. Here we have an auction block where slaves were sold. Supposedly a story here from John Brown's past where he witnessed a slave being beat by a master. Picture of a slave rebellion here, like Nat Turner's rebellion. Photo of John Brown here speaking to some northern abolitionists, trying to get money from one of his numerous anti-slave enterprises. Another propaganda type picture showing the South's treating their slaves as cattle. From the John Brown Wax Museum here, the picture of the caning of caning of Sumner by Brooks, Bully Brooks here. They were fighting over just argument over slavery, North and South. Another picture here from the John Brown Wax Museum. Here we have John Brown in Kansas here. Note the fire in his eye. Another scene from the Wax Museum. This is the Potawatomi massacre, where Brown and some of his sons got in a fight, some kind of a fight with a bunch of pro-slavery faction, and there was a number of people killed. Another picture of the Potawatomi massacre scene. Supposedly one of Brown's sons here at the Potawatomi massacres here. They call it a massacre, but it was probably just some kind of a quarrel. Both sides are armed because, like I said, back then, everybody had one side or another, and violence was used on both sides. Here we have a picture of Brown plotting his, he's supposedly at the Kennedy farm here, plotting the raid here, where he's going to steal these, rob the arsenal and steal rifles, 100,000 muskets from the Harpers Ferry arsenal to arm a group of slaves to rebel against the South. Here are scenes from the John Brown Wax Museum here, just kind of like this is after the raid, where he's in jail here. There's a scene, a gallows scene here, where he's been taking up the gallows. These aren't going to be in any order because, just the way it is. Here's his trial here. Let's see. There he is laying in the courtroom. Once again, the gallows scene here. You can see his head bend. His head bends here. That's the big, they love it. Here. Another scene from after the raid, like when he's taken to court. Here's inside the engine house here. Here's the fight inside the engine house. Close up here. Catch the drama when Robert E. Lee and Jeb Stuart's and here he is plotting at the Kennedy farm, which I'll have more on this. We'll have some video in this as well. Here he is giving a lecture on slavery. Some say his movement was really also a lot about labor, free labor, because of the slavery was competition against free labor, northern free labor, and there was a lot of outrage about that, about free labor having to compete with slavery. There we got his head bent. Okay, here we'll have some artifacts from the museum stuff. The Bleeding Kansas theme here. There he is with his Bible and the crazed look on him and the rifles. And at Harpers Ferry he was trying to get some rifles. Here's a sword from Bleeding, Kansas. Some artifacts here. I don't know if this was used in any of his raids out in the Kansas area or not. We'll have some more pictures, some of the things, and we'll have some brown form. Now this is the actual door from the original engine house here that was on exhibit there at the Harpers Ferry Museum. You can just see, and those pikes there, supposedly he was going to try to equip. Now here's some of the rifles that he was going to try to get. Notice they're a better type, you know, from the armory. Some were, you know, breech loading, I believe. Here's someone at the Kennedy farm. Here we're back on the John Brown. That last photo, that skeleton there had nothing to do with the Brown. That was more a archaeological find there that they found in the same area of some old Edina burial. But these are the pikes here. You can see these going to arm with pikes, somewhat, and with the rifles. And it just shows one of Brown's men and the gallows. Here we have a picture of. These are just wood cuts of some of the things there. These are from the museum. Here they are storming the engine house. The United States. Here's the hanging of Brown. Once again, this shows the raid. Shows how everybody, you know, from the town came out. Now this is the actual engine house, although it's not at this original spot it was at. Just kind of shows you here some people visiting the visit. This is inside the engine house here, showing the way it would have looked during the raid. Outside, with an overview of the different. There's the Shenandoah River and the Potomac River meet here. This marks the original site of where the engine house actually was. And there's some other structures marked out where the arsenal was as well. Now supposedly when Brown was holed up in the engine house there were people firing at him from all different directions from the house. Apparently, you know, get your gun and go out and start shooting. From the townspeople were, okay, now here we have the Kennedy farm. Now this is where he plotted the raid from. One of the places he plotted the raid from, but this was like real close to Harpers Ferry, maybe about 10 miles or so from Harpers Ferry. You see. And these roads here led right to Harpers Ferry. That's why he picked this place here. It was close, good road, could get in when he needed to. Although the road wasn't that good at the time. Now here are some actual photos from the Wax Museum of the raid here. The first man down was actually one of a black man during the raid was accidentally shot by one of Brown's men at one of the stations where they thought some soldiers were coming after him. Here are some of Brown's men inside the engine house firing. Here's a picture of some of the hostages that Brown had inside the engine house. He was holding these people prisoner, hoped for like good behavior, hoping to get some type of a deal. Once again, the dramatic footage here of him holding his one son in here while a man's getting ready to hit him with a sword. More action inside the, this is one of his helpers here that were killed. I believe there was 15 or 20 that were either killed or later hanged after this was over. Now we're getting into the trial here. You can see there he is. The raid didn't go well. He's there on that lane there, being tried. Seen from the Wax Museum here, the drama here, with the American flag there. This was in Charlestown, West Virginia, where in this very small courtroom where this took place, his trial. Here he's being tended to by one of his followers. Here he is being led from the cell to the gallows. You saw earlier pictures of him going up the gallows stairs. Supposedly a scene here where he's kissing a black baby on his way to the gallows. Whether this actually happened or not, no one knows for sure. Brown was taken to the gallows in Charlestown, West Virginia on this wagon here. Let's see. It's on exhibit at the museum in Charlestown. The actual place where the scaffold was is also in Charlestown, West Virginia. It marks the site here. Another scene from the Wax Museum there where he's getting ready to ascend the gallows. Well, he is ascending the gallows stick. Now, actual artifacts, these are supposedly handcuffs that he wore when he was in trial. His revolver here and another set of cuffs that he wore. An all overlooked important point of Brown was his money belt, because he didn't have credit cards or anything back then. He had to have a lot of money, and he was financed by some wealthy Massachusetts, New England business people. So there again, you have a connection with the labor movement. Now there's an actual lock of his hair there, as well as a key here from the jail in Charlestown, West Virginia, his cell. Supposedly a timbers from the actual gallows where Brown was hanged from. An actual rope fragment here. Now here are some more artifacts here. Now here's another noose. So there's so many nooses running around. Who knows who the original one is? This is supposed to be the original. It's in Charlestown, Charleston, West Virginia, at the Capitol. There's the collar that was put around Brown, and then there's more handcuffs there. That was made out of lead, some kind of heavy metal. There's the lock and key, the Brown cell there. John Brown's sword, and there's a head of one of those pikes there that he was going to use in his rebellion. There's a famous picture of him there at his court trial. They're, interrogating him. There's a picture from the raid just showing how everybody, all the townspeople came out and just were taking target practice at him while they were holed up in the firehouse with the hostages. There's the final storm in there. They're using a ladder to break the door down, the engine house. There's a wounded U.S. trooper there. Another view of it there. Good close up there with the smoke coming through the door there. Now here we are at the Brown farm here. There's in New York, the Catskills. There's the Brown's cabin there. We're going to just show the outlay of the Adirondack Mountains there. He wasn't at this farm very often because he was out on business. Like his business was his revolution, his labor movement, or freeing the slaves, all that type thing. There's his tombstone there. Just there's his sons. There's the whole family there. There were a lot of all the ones that were killed there, and then later killed there and also hanged at Harpers Ferry. I'm not sure the exact number that were actually hanged of his associates, but they're all supposedly buried here at this site here. This marks the grave sites here. Pictures here of some of the people that were with him. This is would be closing out here. You just see these were young idealists. A lot of them were Quakers. A lot of them affiliated with the free labor movement and also the abolitionist movement. So you can see these were some of the men that perished there. His sons. A lot of these were Quaker idealists. That man there was the first man to be killed in the raid there, the one black man there. It was a mistaken identity thing. He was actually shot by some of Brown's own men. Let's see. But this is the outlay of the actual. Here's a picture here of the Brown farm back then, from the time of the raid. Like I said, John Brown wasn't here that often because he had bigger fish to fry. It just says here. And then there's the plaques at the farm here. I'll hit some of them. You can get like I said, a lot of people think he was a madman. A lot of people think he's a hero of the labor movement and the abolitionist movement. You can't deny the man had a passion. And carried it through, tried to carry it through as he saw it necessary. Here he is at the famous raid on the arsenal there at Harpers Ferry. Hey, sorry for the cutoff there, but my power ran out on that black section back there. Here's the funeral here at the farm. Notice the hearses and things. And here's the famous statue here on the John Brown farm. Idealistic picture of him here with a black child, which no doubt he had a great feeling for suffering humanity. Once again, the stone here, it's kind of hard to read because it's weathered, so they have it protected here with there's Oliver Brown and John Brown here. Actual stone here. You can see the December 17th. That's when they were hanged, when some of them were hanged. And there's a memorial here to where the different ones are buried here. Watson, son of John and Mary. Oliver. Son of John and Mary. You can see the plots here together right here. Now this is inside here, inside the house itself. You know, if that's his wife in later years. There's him. Not sure the exact history of the house. It was her parents, how they got the money together to get this farm, because he was very unsuccessful in business, because the money was just a way for him to focus on his labor movement and his abolitionist views. A view of the inside just shows the mundane existence, you know, on one of these farms where he raised, supposedly raised sheep and cattle and things. His wife maintained the farm here, though. She ruled the roost and kept everything going, whereas he was always out sort of running into his causes, whatever. She was the more practical type, although she greatly supported her husband, I'm sure. Some pictures in there. Supposedly that's one of the pictures where he's got the crazy look in his face. One of the bedrooms here. Must have been a severe winter, because this far north the winters were very harsh, very, very harsh. Short growing season. Here we have the Adirondacks here, road from the Brown farm into the Adirondacks. Here's where the funeral, his body laid in. And on departing here, we'll leave with the National Park exhibit here. His passion here. Here he is, about to be hit with a sword. Frozen in history forever. By the way, that picture of that fort back there was an accident. Just got in there by. There's a good shot of Mrs. Brown there. I'm going to give you a little better shot here of the where the funeral was. Here. It's pretty close to the Brown farm. Here. You can read there.